It's your $2 Tuesday movie critic here, and I am going to be reviewing the movie Beyond the Lights. This movie stars, and I know I may mess up her name and I apologize in advance, Gugu Mbatha-Raw, who plays Noni, and Nate Parker, who plays Kaz, or Kazam, Minnie Driver, who plays Noni's mom, Macy Jean, and Danny Glover, who plays Kaz's dad, Captain Nicole. Now, this is a wonderful movie. I really enjoyed it. It brought me back to seeing romantic dramas, and it's exactly what it was. It was totally romantic. You have Noni, this super hot pop star, who you see kind of like from the beginning of before she became a star, when her mom was trying to, just get her name out there. And then it comes to when Noni is this big, wonderful pop star who has like all the, glitz and glamour around her and stuff. The thing is Noni is not happy. She's totally empty inside, which causes her to, like, pretty much decide to end her life. And then in comes the police officer who that night happens to be her bodyguard or security guard, who is played by Nate Parker, and his name is Kaz. And Kaz, comes in at the behest of Noni's mom, who of course at this moment can't help her and doesn't know what's going on or why it's happening, and Kaz helps her and he saves her life. The thing about it is that from that, those two make a connection. It's a connection that is made, but I don't think either one of them are ready to admit that. They just pretty much, he's a good guy that sees this beautiful woman that needs his help, or even just sees someone that needs his help and he's wanting to help her, but he realizes that there's much more to it than that. And then you see this beautiful woman that has this person help her and wants nothing from her, and she's not used to that at all. So, and it's this huge dynamic, and in the movie you see how the way they were brought up, their different parents, their way of life, their way of thinking, their way of doing things is so completely different. And one of the things that I like about it too is when they start courting each other, which they really are. You see how Noni is courting Kaz, and then how Kaz courts Noni, and it's totally different, but both sides you can see the sweetness in it. How what they're trying to do is let the other know, I really care about you. It's a very beautiful movie, and it's one where they're younger, younger 20s something couple, and they're just trying to find their way. And you think that, and then you look at the dynamic of the parents, where you think that it's just Noni's mom that possibly is just using her to get her own, pie in the sky. But it's not as simple as that. You see Kaz's dad, who's played by Danny Glover, who is trying to also do the same thing, but he's not going about it necessarily the same way that Noni's mom is going about it, but he's grooming his son to do the things that he never got the chance to do, but that aspired to do. So now he's trying to get his son to follow in those footsteps and do those things. So the parents are kind of like, in a way, almost the same, except they're just looked at differently. And I don't know if it's because it's a dad doing this for his son and it's a mom doing this to her daughter, or the facets that they're trying to lead their kids into. Kaz's dad is trying to lead him into a life of politics, whereas Noni's mom is trying to lead her into the glim and glitz of being a pop star. So there's a lot of dynamics going on there, where it's not just about this beautiful romantic drama. It's also about the love story between, parents with their children. It's a love story of a person loving themselves. And then it even touches on the whole role model thing, you know, where you see these girls looking at Noni as some type of role model, which why a pop star is considered a role model, I do not know. I mean, I personally, myself, cannot see any pop star really considered as a role model. And it's not necessarily because they're not the perfect people. It's just because all they're doing is having their careers. All they're doing is trying to make money, trying to be the big one on the stage at that time, you know. They're not really, they shouldn't be looked at as role models are, you know, people that you should try and emulate. Maybe, yeah, oh, they have a nice song or something like that, but they dress scantily, they, as scantily as they possibly can. They sing songs that usually are about sex or getting sex or body image, you know, and yeah, they may say, oh, you don't have to be a perfect size to be beautiful, but to be beautiful or to be thought of as beautiful, you still need to catch the eye of that guy, you know. I mean, I find it kind of strange that the guys are the ones that are talking about really true beauty, singing about, you know, you're beautiful just because you're who you are, whereas girls are more about you're beautiful because you have a big butt, or you're beautiful because you can make the guy still want you no matter what you look like. I just find that so incredibly crazy. But that's enough of that. That's a whole nother topic. But in this, they kind of touch on that with Noni and how she is considered a pop star and also, in some eyes, a role model. So, I love the movie. It's, a full disclosure, I wanted to see this movie from the very first time I saw the previews because I am a romantic and I thought this was going to be a really true romance and not just one of those sickeningly sweet movies where it's a bunch of cliche sentences that someone says and it doesn't make sense, but somehow the music is so romantic it has to be romance, you know. This was more than that. It was real. It had a lot of meat to it, and that's why I really loved it. It started out very sensual and sexual and things, but somewhere in that midst, it became more romantic, and, you know, so I loved it. So this movie is definitely, I think it is rated R, and it's rated R for a reasonable curse in the movie, but that's not mainly what it doesn't get too out of hand. Yeah, so I think teenagers would really love this movie. You know, not tweens, but teenagers. So I'd say like 17 and above. I wouldn't take anyone younger than that to see it just because it does have a lot of adult content. There are some very sexual moments in the movie, and it does get, at some point, does get kind of scary. Not in the monster type of way, but in the assault type of way. So for that, I wouldn't take the younger ones to see it. Yeah, and I think it's a cool date night movie too. And it's, you know, one of those movies you go out with your girls and you guys see. But I think it's a perfect date night movie for sure. So that is my recommendation. I have my 2 old school movies. My first old school movie that I wanted to do was to go over the relationship between Noni and her mom. And, you know, her mom is played by Minnie Driver, and her name there is Macy Jean. But before, Minnie Driver was a mom in the movie Beyond the Light. She was a mom in the movie Beautiful. And this movie came out in 2000. It is not a romance movie at all. There's no romance in it at all. But it is a movie about love. And it kind of like, for me, and I'll tell you the truth, for me, this is like, if you watch this movie from beginning to end, the end of this movie is kind of like the beginning of the movie of Beyond the Lights. When you still have Minnie Driver as the mom, she has a different daughter, but her career is over, so she's trying to start a whole new career for her daughter. That's what when I saw it and I saw the movie, that's what I was thinking. That was the first movie that came to mind when I saw this. Beautiful. Now, Beautiful, of course, that's not the same thing, but I honestly, it's the sequel to Beautiful. So, anyway, this movie stars again Minnie Driver and this cutie patootie right here, Haley Kate Eisenberg. It is considered a drama / comedy. It's more of a drama than a comedy, but there are some good funny moments in there. And Haley Kate Eisenberg plays Vanessa, who is Mona's niece, who is, of course, really Mona's daughter. And everybody can see it because they really do look so much alike. That's just like in Beyond the Lights, how Macy and Noni, they look so much alike. And everybody sees it, but she keeps saying they're not related, that she's actually the daughter of Mona's best friend, played by Joey Lauren Adams, Ruby. And Ruby Stillwell is the little girl that Mona meets when she's a little girl. Everybody knows that's watching the movie that Vanessa is Mona's daughter. And so you think, oh my gosh, this is a horrible mom. She's so focused on her career that she would let this little girl be raised by someone else. But when you look more into the movie, you see that it's not just that cut and dry. Mona does love Vanessa, but she does not think that she can be a good mom. She does not think she even knows what love is because she never really loved anyone. You know, she loves the fact that that Vanessa is being taken care of by Ruby, because she knows that Ruby is the best mom for her, because she knows how Ruby loves, and she knows that Ruby will take the best care of her. And it's the same thing with the relationship in Beyond the Lights with Noni and her mom. The thing is that you think it's cut and dry, where this mom is just using her daughter to get into the limelight itself. But you realize that Noni's mom never knew love. Her parents kicked her out of the house when they found out she was pregnant with a black man's baby. And Noni's dad left as soon as he found out she was pregnant. So she didn't have anyone. So she wasn't accepted. She was rejected by everyone. And then she realized that Noni had this talent. And she realized that with this talent, that Noni can be accepted. And she kind of like attributes acceptance to love. And she's going to make sure that her daughter is always accepted and is the best of the best. Because then no one can take away the love, or no one can take away the acceptance, what she considers love. So she really does love her daughter. It's just the only love that she's ever known. She knows that if she can get her daughter to the top, then no one can reject her or turn her away, because so many people will love her and accept her that she just can't be dismissed the way everyone dismissed her. And when you look at it like that, you know, you realize that this woman does love her mom. It's a weird, this woman does love her daughter. It's a weird kind of love, but it is love nonetheless. And same thing in Beautiful, where Mona really does love Vanessa. And it's just that she loves her the only way she's ever known love. She never knew love from her mother, because her mother didn't understand her. So instead of trying to understand her, her mom rejected her. And, you know, the only person that ever really cared about her was Ruby. And so she realizes that, hey, I have Ruby, and I know that Ruby loves me, and she's the only person that made me feel loved. So obviously she can make my daughter feel the same way and be loved, because this is something I just can't do. So I can compare those two, and I think it's, again, like Beyond the Lights is the sequel to Beautiful. It's just different people. And it did make fun of beauty pageants as well, which I thought was funny. So, yeah, and then it goes into the whole role model thing again, where, you know, women in these beauty pageants are supposed to be such role models, but most of the time they're not even telling the truth about half of the things that they say they really did or are doing, and things like that. And, you know, that stuff is all secret. They're supposed to be these perfect images of beauty when there's no such thing, and it's all a facade. and they really shouldn't be considered role models. Just like Noni and her glitz and glamour shouldn't have really been considered a role model. Noni didn't even think should be considered a role model, you know. And so that goes into that too. Alright, so my second old school movie is one that will take some people way back. This is Mahogany. This came out in 1975. This is also a romantic drama, and this goes into the romance between Noni and Kaz, and you know, the same thing is the romance in Mahogany with Tracy Chambers, who's played by Diana Ross, and Brian Walker, who's played by Billy D. Williams. Oh my gosh, I had such a crush on him when I was a teenager. I know he was like twice my age, but I didn't care. He was gorgeous. He's still a beautiful man, even though, you know, you see more of the human side to him now as he's gotten older, but he's still a beautiful man. Anyway, neither here nor there. And of course, the beautiful Diana Ross, who's just fabulous. So this movie, Mahogany, I think it's more of a love story than actually a romance. You don't see too much romance going on in the movie, but you do see that these two people have a connection from the very beginning, even though it's a bad connection, and she wants to wring his neck. But you can see that he's initially attracted to her from the very beginning, and she wants nothing to do with him. And it's not necessarily because she's not attracted to him, it's because she wants to stay focused on her career, and she wants to be a fashion designer. Unfortunately, she's the only one that thinks that she can do it, because everybody else is, well, with the exception of her aunt, everyone else is pretty much like, you need to put that pipe dream away, you know. And, you know, the thing about the relationship between Brian and Tracy is that it is a tumultuous one, where Brian loves Tracy, but he does not support her. And Tracy loves Brian, and she does initially support, well, not initially, but she comes around to support him, but she sees that he doesn't want to support her, and she still has a hunger to make her dream come true. So it's kind of like that relationship. Of course, the couple in Mahogany is a bit older than the couple in Beyond the Lights, but you can get past that. You can kind of see that same dynamic where Kaz does want to support Noni in her dreams. You know, he kind of like even leaves behind his dreams to follow behind hers. Noni doesn't necessarily want to support Kaz's dreams. She wants him to be a part of her life. She wants him to be in her life. And, you know, as long as he's there, she has his love and she's okay. But she's not ready to change her life. The dynamic of the love between the two of the couples, that's there. And it's really undeniable. And it's beautiful. It's just like I said, there's not a lot of romance. And the same thing, the dynamic where in Mahogany, where Tracy tries to follow her dreams, and she finds that it's not as easy as she thought, and there are plenty of people that are willing to use her and get her to do things that she doesn't want to do in order to get where she wants to go. The same thing in Beyond the Lights, where everybody's willing to take a piece of Noni to say, hey, yeah, you can get where you want to go, but you have to do this first. Instead of, you know, so there are people that are users and abusers and things like that. And both of these movies with these ladies, all they want to do is just have their dreams come true. And, you know, and then they have the question, both of them have the question in their head, is this really my dream? Is this really what I want anymore? You know, and it comes to that. They're both beautiful movies. I love Mahogany. They have a major chemistry that's there, and that's in both movies where there is this huge chemistry that they have, and it's just so beautiful to see. I love them. Loved all the movies. I of course, you saw I Love Beautiful as well. I have that one, and I would recommend anybody go see them. Mahogany has, you know, it's one of those movies. I honestly don't know what it was rated, but it's not a movie that you would want your kids to go see either. It has a profanity in it, but it's mostly because of the sexual scenes in there. So, and it has brief nudity, just a brief amount. And then it has drug use as well. And then in the movie Beyond the Lights, there's some drug use as far as alcoholism and things like that with the alcohol. So, yeah, these are all adult type movies. I can think, with the exception of maybe Beautiful. Beautiful is probably one of those movies you get a group of girls together and see. I can't see too many guys wanting to sit through that movie. But Mahogany and Beyond the Lights, definitely date night movies. That's one, yeah, for those. So those are my recommendations for this time. I hope you enjoyed them. And if you have other movies that you think better fit and compare to Beyond the Lights, let me know at the bottom of the screen. And until next time,